All right, what is going on, guys? Today we have Brandon joining us, and he is going to demonstrate some isometric hypertrophy. This stuff burns. So what we did off camera is we got all the numbers ready, and we're going to be right in that 60 to 85% rep range. So we're all familiar with the 6 seconds, but we don't have too much of this on the channel. Why? Because YouTube Shorts doesn't really like stuff over like 10 seconds, or it doesn't really push it. Also, this really burns. So we're gonna get started. We got the RDL set, chain link 1, and the load that he has to hold is 185 pounds. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go for 20 seconds at 185 pounds or more. And here we go, 3, 2, 1, and pull. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, and done. All right, so he got 194 for his max, but it's not really about max here. So it's more about average mode. So average is 192, which is actually really good. So that means that for the entire 20 seconds, he was averaging around 192 pounds. So when we're looking for progressive overload with this type of training, we want to focus more on the average. Yes, the max does matter, but as long as we're hearing the beeps for more time than not, that's what's really going to stimulate the hypertrophic response. All right, so he's got about a minute break, so he's got about 25 seconds left. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this, but not before I write it down. 0.6 max, average, and then 194.6 for max. Okay, so he's about good. Now this time what we're going to do is we're going to go for the 45 seconds at that same 60%. So he's got to hold that 185, but he's got to hold it for 45 seconds. Now this is a lot more challenging. It's going to be near the higher end of that spectrum for hypertrophy. So here we go. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and pull. Trying to hear that beep the whole time. A lot harder this time. So it's more about pacing. So what I've found works really well for this is, obviously you want to hear the beats, but you also want to focus on just trying to keep that power in the top end as long as possible. What I mean by that is if he dips a little bit below, and like let's say he starts to get like around like 170, that's still okay, because it's still going to mean that his average is high, and then we're going to try and beat that number because this is the first round of it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Very good. All right. Okay, what we got here? Max 195, 157. See, now it's gonna go down because it's hard to keep those maximal forces for 45 seconds if you've never done. Like, how does that feel right now?
Not great.
Not great. But more, would you say like more burn? For sure.
More burn.
Okay, yep. Average and 195.2. All right, so he gets another break. So usually the time for rest for these hypertrophy lifts is about a minute. So we're gonna cut to that next part. And this time, what we're gonna do is focus on the 85%, the highest being 85% in 45 seconds. So we are not going to do that today. And we're gonna go right in that 3/4 range. So now he has to hold 262 pounds of force for 20 seconds. So that's 85% of his max. His max was 309. All right, so this is our last round. It's 85% of his max for only 20 seconds. I say only loosely. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and pull. So we started at 12 seconds, so we're gonna be done at 32. Yep, this is gonna be a lot tougher. Yep, so we're gonna rev a little bit harder into it. So think it's almost the 6-second contractions. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. There we go. There we go. You all right, man?
Oh yeah.
What we got here? Max 271. Excellent job here. And 263. That's awesome. Okay, so what does that mean? So he had about 263 pounds of force on average. 262 was the number that we needed to stimulate a hypertrophic response. So in that sense, that was a very successful hypertrophy lift. Not that the other two weren't, they also were good. The 192 off the first one, the 185 is the number that we had to hold. The second one, because the time under tension was a lot longer, it's a lot harder. So it was 45 seconds, and we got about 157 pounds of force on average. So you notice, if you go back in the video, that he was keeping the reps high and then start to dip because the muscle fatigue. Makes sense. That was good. All right, so he's gonna take a break. We're gonna transition into the seated row, chain link 5. Our number is 199 that we're gonna try and hold for 20 seconds and 45 seconds respectively. All right, guys, so we are ready for the row. 199 is the number that he has to beat. Well, hold over. We're gonna do it for 20 seconds. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, and pull. All right, so now this is where we're going to focus a lot more on hearing the beeps versus the all-out 6-second contractions we're used to. This hypertrophy, man, it burns. It does burn. It's really gonna kick in right about now. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Very good. All right, so what do we have here? Max 209 and 145. So what we're gonna do is put 145 down here. And it was what, 209? Awesome, so 209 was the max. So 145, so we were a little under for this, and that's okay, honestly. So we don't train this way often. This is a totally different type of train, and this is like akin to, you know, someone being in shape for calisthenics and then they go into the weightlifting world, and sometimes the transfer doesn't always transfer. So, and there is nothing weak about Brandon at all, nothing at all. But this is just a different, so what I've noticed is that as we have people on here on the channel trying this out, after a couple rounds, their bodies does start to acclimate. So I know that as their muscle starts to get used to these type of contractions, it does start to change. You're about to see that right now. So we're gonna go into the 45-second lift. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this form. All right, 45. And notice I didn't change his load, so his load does remain at 199. So here we go. He's had about a minute. It's gonna be a lot of breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. 3, 2, 1, and go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Very good. Max 222.4 and 149. Good. That's actually even more impressive than the 145 because he was able to keep his average around the same, holding for an extra 25 seconds. And that does make the extra 5 seconds makes a huge difference. So adding an extra 25 is huge. So I'm gonna go back here. Max 222.4. So something that I've found, and I found this with my clients that I train online also, is when you see a difference like that, so 145 to 209 and 149 to 222, what that's indirectly telling me as the trainer is they are more used to the 6-second contractions, and so they're revving high. It's more of a decline like this instead of a gradual decline. So that shows me that they just need more practice with this. They have the strength, they're able to hold higher average forces than that. Just need to get used to it. All right, so we're going to go to the 85% in 20 seconds. So now he has to hold 283 pounds of force for 20 seconds. Here we go, last one, 85%. 20 seconds. Load 283. 3, 2, 1, and go. Woo! There it is. All right, 282, 289, 284. All right, so y'all peep that rise time, right? So this is a totally different lift. Totally different. All right, we're coming up on the last. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Very good, very good. Okay, so max 289, I peeped that. 278. Now, did y'all see the difference? Did y'all see the difference? So 283 was that number that we were trying to stay above. That's pretty much our average number goal when we do the math on the calculator. So off camera, I gave him a tip. So because he noticed that the percentage is 85%, it's not 60 anymore. All right, so I told him a little tip is almost treat this like the 6-second contraction. So he's revving at a lot higher forces than normal, and he had to hold it for 20 seconds. If you guys remember on the video it was comparing the isometric contractions of a 3 sets of 10, that for the 6-second contraction, it's a slow decline. So we're literally treating that same type of force here because 85% is almost to 100% in that same manner. So I'm gonna tell him to almost rev pretty much at 100%, and his strength is naturally going to decline for that 20 seconds. So now he doesn't have to do as much balance work as he had to for the 60%, if that makes sense. So if you guys don't understand that, comment down below and I could break that down into more details. So now we're gonna go into the upright row. Looks like our number is 126 for the 60%. All right, guys, so the last one he's doing, totally hitting up the posterior chain here, is the upright row. So 126 pounds of force for 20 seconds. That's his 60%. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and pull. 3, 2, 1. Very good. See, I heard all those beeps, right? So he was dancing right around that number he had to stay around. That's okay. 149 for max. 141. Oh, excellent. So that was literally, that's like the textbook of what we want for a hypertrophy session. All right, here we go, round 2. So the same thing, this time we were trying to hold 126 for 45 seconds. So this is where we turn on the burn. 3, 2, 1, and go. Yes, excellent job, excellent job. Okay, so max 160, average 149. Another excellent lift. 160. 149. Okay, so this is really good. So I want to show you guys what this means, right? Because remember, we're chasing hypertrophy. So as long as the load is correct, and the time under tension is correct, right? Then that is going to stimulate a hypertrophic response. So it's like we can have the time correct, but if we were only holding for like 70 pounds of force, you know, that's like if we went to the gym, you know, like his weights for a hypertrophic response in the gym are 45 pounds and I gave him 20 pounds. He's not gonna get big with 20 pounds. So the load also has to be correct. It doesn't matter whether it's dynamic or static. It doesn't matter as long as the load and the time under tension is correct. So this is growth. These are growth numbers right here because these are the numbers that we were looking at. Right here, 126, we hit it. The 149 average, that is going to make his traps grow. All right, so now we're gonna go to 85%. We're gonna finish him off, so we're gonna smoke him. So 85%, 20 seconds. So now the number he's gotta hold for 20 seconds is 178. All right, guys, this is his last one. 85%. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. And we're done, that's it. Max 192, average 173. Still very good. All right, so these are the results of his posterior chain session. Lower back, mid back, upper back complex. 192, 194, great. Closer you can get the max, by the way, to the average, the better. I mean, that is probably one of the most successful hypertrophy sessions you can have. 263, 271, great. Starts to get a little fatigue there, that's okay, but the fact that we have a number there to work on will make the next session even more beneficial. 145, 209, 149, 222. So remember, I told you about if there's a discrepancy that large, all right, then we just need work on that. That's okay. 278, 289. So that max at the 85% for his row, that was great. I'm gonna get some hypertrophy there. All right, we're talking about 141, 149, great. 149, 160, still pretty close. 173, 192, still pretty close. Does that make sense? So the difference between them two isn't as close. These two still pretty close. All right, so overall, that is a successful hypertrophy session. All right, so now that we would have the numbers, next time he comes in, we don't increase the load. We keep the load the same, and now we try and work on the average mode number, aka hearing the beeps for as long as possible. All right, guys, so that is what a hypertrophy session looks like. What do you think about the whole thing, man?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were you expecting that type of burn?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Definitely.
And
Especially on the 45 second.
Like, so here's a good question for you. So would you say, what would you say was the toughest one? The 45 second, 60% strength, or the 85% strength, 20 second?
Probably the 85 with the 20, because that was already after you did the 45 with the 60.
Do you think that if you did the 85% first and then did the 45 with the 60, that would be easier, or?
I feel like it'd be about the same once you hit like those last 10 seconds, because it's still going to be the burn, because you're going to want to get that final pull at the end.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, guys, figure we get somebody new. I know you guys see me all the time, so Brandon, I appreciate you coming out and volunteering, man. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. If you want to see more isometric hypertrophy, we can definitely set that up. See you in the next one. Peace.